on to something very, very interesting. I have been looking forward to this session, and our session now is the panel discussion, and we have our esteemed panelists with us. Our moderator, Rinoo Rajesh, he is our Vice President of the chapter. An inspiration, a true guidance. I am thoroughly impressed. His profile is 4 pages profile, and I will try to read one line from each page. Which is 25 years of experience across the geographies with world in technology, OEM services. He's an author. He's creating strategic management and marketing management, remote sensing and GIS applications, ethics and data sciences. I'm reading, like I said, connect khud kar lena. I'm reading 2-3 lines of each page. And then he's also an he's an IIM Bangalore alumnus. His Masters in Information Technology as well as Masters from Delhi School of Economics, and also a PMI certified, PMP, okay. He's certified TOGAF Enterprise Architect, certified business coach. So boss, we have a gold mine right here, and he's a mentor, and he's going to be moderating this event. And he's also a strategist, and he's the one who actually whips us to make sure that we document, we follow the process, and we actually become a better person when we come out of our BOD roles. So that's a little introduction about our moderator. Moving on to our first panelist. As I take the names, can you please take your seats? I would like to talk about our next panelist, which is Samar Vaidya. He is the founder of Cloudberg Ventures Private Limited. Cloudberg is a cloud kitchen. It's a startup which focuses on making premium burgers. The daily burgers, fries, and enterology and astral exports are few of his accolades and experiences that he has. Samar, I would request you to please take your seat. So these are a few of the organizations which he has worked. I will not kill the surprise. I would like him to share his own experience when he's given the chance. Our next panelist is Vinay Phadnis. I would request Vinay ji to come and sit on the stage. He is a director at Atomic Loops. He leads the development of innovative solutions using AI, machine learning, blockchain, quantum computing, and decentralization across countries. He has built technologies for doctors and hospitals all over India, and facilitates an acquisition deal with Shubu.ai. Oh, that's interesting. A leading healthcare AI company. He's also an instructor with Udemy, and he's a freelancer with Elysian. How do you read that? Elysian. Elysian. Okay, I'm sorry. Elysian. All right, let's welcome our third panelist, Mr. Ujwal Joshi. I would request him to take the seat on the dais. He's the founder of BaggerChat. Have I said it right? BaggerChat? Okay. He's a passionate and innovative founder, spearheading the development and growth of BaggerChat, a leading provider of WhatsApp automation software solutions to clients in over 35 countries. He's also been a founder of curlyorange.com. And I'm sorry I have not added someone who's a family member, Makarand Hardas. He is our BOD, and he is leading our initiatives in the technology area. And Makarand, please first introduce yourself. I'm sorry I'm taking that advantage because now, like I said, same experience, peer.
Thank you, Anuradha. The reason she put me here because I didn't give my introduction to her. Very honest.
That's right.
So, I am a failed entrepreneur. Okay, so I may not fit right into this group, but I will share whatever experiences I had. I was in corporate, moved to startup, back to corporate. That's my journey. That's it.
Makarand is working with Tata Communications as a vice president, and we do need the failure. We can't eat sugar all the time. We do need salt and spice. So Makarand, you are essential part of the success. Your learnings are going to be very instrumental. Over to Rinoo.
I hope this is working. So we'll talk about, so we have failed entrepreneurs, we have successful entrepreneurs, we have a variety of guys, and we have investors like me. I invest. So I can already see somebody's eyes lighting up. Okay, here's the guy who distributes money. So we'll talk about what to do and what not to do. And of course, overall in the context of what project management has to do with startups. Because like Amit was forced, Harshad also forced me that there has to be a connection with project management. And I believe that there is a very good framework that Project Management Institute provides to help startups. Now, I will start with people talking about their own journey first, and then we will go to a little more generic discussions around where project management fits into startup world. So we'll start with you, Samar. Talk about yourself and your startup.
Hi, my name is Samar, and as ma'am suggested, I've worked in various fields. So initially I started my career in logistics and import and export. Did that for 5 years. Then I just, after COVID, when people were losing jobs, I was one of them. So I lost my job in that. And then I started something of my own for logistics, but definitely failed in that because it's a very difficult industry to start a business in. Then I worked in a few startups. I worked in a startup called Moolshine Middery. We used to make meats. We used to make meats and distribute it. Then partnered with a friend, started an edtech company, worked with them. I didn't find it interesting and left it. So year back I started a company called Cloudberg. I was always passionate about food, and more than food, I was passionate to serve food to people. So started this brand called Cloudberg. We are serving burgers, fries and everything since then. And the journey is on. I'm still in my early stage, as you can say, and learning every day. So if you have any questions further, you can let me know.
Okay, hi. I personally think introductions are boring. I hate listening to them. But still, let's quickly go through it in a minute. I am Vinay. I am the co-founder of Atomic Loops. For the last 5 years, we have been into AI services. We help companies build their own language models, build their own image models, build computer vision systems, and so on. Now, we have been doing this long before ChatGPT was cool, long before AI was widely understood, and long before AI was seemed to be something which is a robotic technology. So fast forward to today, of course we'll talk in detail about some snippets throughout my journey based on the specific project level systems. Fast forward to today, we have clients in across 21 countries. We have a presence in Pune, Seminar186 Road. We have an office in Sydney, one office in Toronto. And we have closely been working with the Indian government for the G20 initiative and multiple others. We're also working with the New South Wales government in Australia to explore how AI can better help in civilian use. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Ujwal. I am founder of baggagechat.com. We provide WhatsApp automation software solutions. This is my second startup actually. I work with SunGuard, which is now known as FIS, with Makarand, so we are close friends from that time. Instead of providing more gyan about myself, what I will say, he said that he is a fails entrepreneur. Actually, he is the inspiration for me getting the plunge into the entrepreneurship. He started first, and then he was like, when I was also thinking that okay, maybe my journey is becoming more monotonous in the corporate world. What should I do, right? So he was one of the inspirations, and I think whoever is sitting here or who is even in the audience, whoever is an entrepreneur, everybody has failed. It is just the percentage of failure that is, there. Somebody fails 100%, but the most successful entrepreneur who is there, he has at least failed 50% of the times. That is what you have to remember. So everybody here is a failure. We are struggling, but we are still trying to find the path ahead.
Thanks, Ujwal. So we are ex-colleagues, that's why we have dressed alike. If you see. So jokes apart, I will quickly explain you my journey. So from 99 to 2014, all into corporate. 2014 to 2018, mid 2018, I
ran almost 2 startups. Okay. Being from a tech background, and I love playing around with hardware. So my startups were hardware plus software application combination, and since everyone is going to cloud, internet, I tried something going anti-internet, anti-cloud. So first startup idea was around bringing the networks into the underground mines, and we built product. We did lot of demos, we won lot of awards, but when it comes to monetization, we failed there. That was the first failure. Then I thought, let's do something simple. So many of you might be aware of this Raspberry Pi. So we use Raspberry Pi, overclocked it, built a kind of a server, okay, where it's basically a content based model where a lot of content is being put on the Raspberry Pi using all this memory disk as a hard disk, and putting Linux, everything. And then one application was like a quiz engine. So got a decent sell and everything. But the mistake what I made there is I never invested into marketing. I thought if product is good, it will sell by itself. And we got a pretty good deals initially. And probably in subsequent discussions, I will talk about that scalability model as well, the framework which Rinoo was referring to. So we'll talk about that as well. And finally, then I took an exit in 2018, mid 2018, where Tata Communication was working on similar technologies, and I got a proposal to join them, and that's how I landed in Tata Com. Thank you.
So, looks like this one is not working. I was trying to utilize 2 mics at the same time. So as like Makarand mentioned, it's not always end of the road if you exit, whether successfully or just shut down. As an investor, I have looked at companies which have done great, which have folded up also. That's part of investment process. Of course, what you bet as an investor is on an idea, but more than idea, the execution team. Because like Amitji mentioned, you can keep having all the nightmares or daydreams until execution happens, nothing works. So sharing an idea, and there are people, I've come across some of the good people who actually asked an NDA before pitching their idea, and I told them, look, your idea is worth the paper that you're trying to carry out on, which basically is zero. What matters is, are you able to execute it? So with execution, I would like to open the floor. First, the question of from idea to conceptualization. So I would invite everyone to talk about how they manage to define a clear goal. Because what we see every morning, there is an idea. By the time your afternoon comes, that idea is starting to thin out. In case of entrepreneurs and startup founders, that idea has to stick. So what was your journey when talking to either your co-founders or yourself and sticking around with it? So that's the first question.
Okay, so for me, ideas are malleable. So what I mean by that is, ideas are never a eureka moment. You've stumbled across something magical happened, and then something cool will happen after this. I have 10 other ideas. I'll be happy to share that with you. I'll still be confident that I'll beat you to market with it. Because I have that kind of abilities, I have that kind of confidence in my execution abilities of me and my team. So sometimes, right, ideas are not everything. The execution is what matters. Even if your idea is out in the public, doesn't matter. If you can beat someone to the market, that's actually a plus point for you. Now in terms of idea to conceptualization, so for us, we never kind of had a backup net behind these ideas. Idea was always all in or all out. So it's like you just, this idea thing is very overrated. You just get an idea. Once you think this is even remotely feasible for you and your team, whoever, your friends, your family members, your co-founders, friends, anyone, your core team, once you think it is even remotely feasible, get started with it. once you get started with it, you have to be crazy passionate behind it. There is only one job of a successful founder, and contrary to other beliefs, it's nothing technical, it's nothing related to sales, it's nothing related to marketing, it's hopeless optimism. Your family might be shouting at you for doing the wrong thing, your friends might be shouting at you, your peers, colleagues might be shouting at you. The only job you have to do is be hopelessly optimistic at a point that becomes indistinguishable from others calling you an idiot. Doesn't matter. That's the cost you have to pay to make sure you overcome all obstacles for that idea. And over time the market will tell you the reality. Do you need to pivot? Do you need to steer in some other direction? Where is all of this headed? So I think broad takeaways, ideas are overrated. Just take one idea, put down, get in the market, see what happens. If you think that's good enough, stick with it.
It's a good start only, it's not the end, of any project. I'll give one example, as Amit was saying that, he was asking ideas and people were shy about sharing the ideas basically. We did the same mistake initially, so we knew, okay, WhatsApp is emerging and we need to provide some solutions around it. So you might be remembering that 6-7 years back, WhatsApp did not provide any kind of a backup. Right now it provides it through Google Drive and all, iCloud and all those options, right? So we thought it's a good, people are chatting and there's no backup, mera data ud gaya, ye ho gaya, all those things. Let's solve that problem. They're not very open about it, right? We built a nice app, which is collecting the data, which is giving good insights and all those things. We, then we started talking to the potential clients. We went to them, and pitched it. They also acknowledged that you have solved the problem. Okay, it's not like the problem was not existing. But regarding the monetization, the kind of expectation we had, they were not ready to go to that level. So we realized that, okay, it's a problem that we are solving, but we are doing a charity, honestly, right? So as part of taking feedback or going to multiple people, what we discovered is they don't want to solve backup as a primary thing. It's a side objective. What they want to solve is a customer engagement. And that is where then we again pivoted. We started doing the things, we rebuilt the application in that direction, provided multiple flavors of customer engagement option. In fact, when we started, for 9 months, we spent, we became profitable in around 15 months. In that, I would say 9 months we spent on this backup. Now I realize, and the rest 6 months, when we identified the right problem where it can be monetized well, right? Within 6 months we became profitable. So that's a big difference. Now we realize, and I keep telling everybody that, first, excuse me, you keep on talking with people, as the question is mainly about idea to conceptualization or even to MVP. You have to get the customers, as sponsors or stakeholders very much ahead in the process. You cannot say, okay, my idea is great. We also have put a lot of effort on that very beautiful app. You can see go back and see the videos. But what about the monetization? Because we never consulted the customers at that time. Now then we felt, okay, we wasted 9 months. We could have been profitable 6 months earlier. So getting the feedback from people, or even when you are identifying who are the stakeholders who can give us money for that, and first of all getting them in confidence. That, okay, whether you need it or not, understanding the feedback, that I think is very important step after the idea, before you even go into the execution phase. That is my take on that.
Thanks, Ujwal. Very well said. So my thought around idea. So there are a lot of ideas comes to our head, right, our brain. But if the idea is really qualified, then you will get convinced. So how to get convinced about the idea? Whether the problem which you are trying to solve, will you get paid for it? Okay. So when I started with my first venture, okay, as Vinay said, you should be hopelessly optimistic, and I was hopelessly optimistic, okay. And we did a lot of things, invested a lot of money, but we couldn't able to monetize it, okay. So we were convinced and conceived both with that idea, okay. So then, but it didn't work. We had to abort it. Okay, stop it. And then when we started with the second one, then I can see that we were far more realistic. Instead of investing too much into the tech, we tried to come up with an approach what Ujwal has suggested. We talked to 3 customers first. We shared our idea. And if we do something like this in next 3 months, will you buy it? And that's what happened. Actually, I got 5 customers before even rolling out the platform in the market. And out of 5, 3 started paying from the first month. So that conviction is very important, and once you are convinced, okay, if there is a potential for the market, potential for the product in the market, then what is the market size, what is the segment which you are targeting, and what is the upside and downside, both it's important to understand. And then you have to conceive, okay, feel pregnant about the idea, and then get into the execution. That's what I will say.
So yes, earlier days. So yeah. So basically, Amit knows when we were like starting out this venture. When I was in the idea stage. We went. I was like very reluctant to start a business which is very difficult in nature, because food business has a probability of 99% of getting shut in the first year. Within next 3 years, 90%. Within next 5 years, 80%. And if you survive for 5 years, then you're good. You've set in your foot in the business. Unless and until there's a major issue with your company, like a health hazard or an FDA raid, you are okay. So, firstly, as anyone who want to start a business, you need money for that. So I went to my father. I said that I want to start this business, and it is a food business. So the first thing he said that, "Aata hai kuch business ke bare mein?" So I said no. So he said, "Learn first and then come to me." So I went into the market. I was from import and export. Then I started working in cafes. I worked there for a year and got some experience. Then I went to my father and he said that we'll start. But I started with a very low investment. I started in my kitchen. I started giving my products to people who I know. Then I started giving the products outside my society, and then saw that are people paying for it. Then actually I was also surprised that people were paying for it. So I said that, "Arey, अच्छा है, चलेगा ये." So then I took a very small place in Koth Road and started a cloud kitchen. And after a cloud kitchen, now we are into a retail store. And this is how the idea is growing. Now we are not just a retail store, but also we provide wholesale raw materials to other cafes who want to start their own journey. So we make patties, we make fries, and we sell it to other cafes as well. Now this is a new venture that we have started, because the things which I faced setting up the vendors, because even if you work at someone's place, he's not going to tell you the recipe or the vendors. You have to figure it yourself. Not even people who work in my company know everywhere everything comes from. So this is how the business works. You have to find your way and you have to find your own things. But now we have started a wing in which we also provide some raw materials to other cafes who want to start it. So this is how the idea has grown now. And then I have opened up that has opened a lot of perspectives for me, which earlier started just by selling burgers from home. So it grows. Eventually you get more ways to find profitability, and also because there are a lot of difficult spots in a business, then if you could help them in that difficult spot, it makes another business for them. So that is how it grows, and it's been growing for me at least for now.
So, as you could see through the experience of all the panelists, few things emerge. One, not only idea has to be viable, somebody should be ready to pay for it. Unless there is not a single business in the world which can exist without customers. So if you don't have customers, you don't have a business. So whatever the idea, always look how cash will come in. And cash is very important. A lot of people, when they're starting a company, they get into this valuation game. My valuation is X. And I can tell you so many different ways that you can prove that your startup, which is on paper right now, is X millions worth, but you will not survive. because there is no cash. What they have cracked is how to generate cash. But I would want to, change slightly. I mean, we are in a project management community right now. So how did you use agile methodologies to pivot? Did you use agile methodologies in your MVP? Because all of you described that you went through that MVP stage. MVP is minimum viable product, which basically can sell. So your thoughts around how did you use agile methodologies, if at all, or if you didn't, that's also a revelation for us that it can happen without agile. And there are a lot of agile fans here, I can tell. So that is one side of the question. Second is, what strategies did you use to engage your stakeholders? Now stakeholders, more than customers, stakeholders, all who can give you clear feedback, something works, doesn't work. So we'll start with you.
So recently, as I said, we were an outlet, we were a retail outlet, and now I'm thinking of changing a direction of my company a bit, because we are also going through a different path of providing the raw materials. That can be counted as a pivot, because that was not my original decision to start with, because I wanted to sell a product. Now I'm selling it to others, basically creating another competition for me maybe. But now as I see a lot of people in this business, I have realized that I need to have another channel, an ecosystem in which I can also go through and create something which is a similar thing. It is a different company altogether. It is just related to my company through investments, and we have created another channel. Now if I feel in future that maybe this channel is working better for me, then I'll go into that channel and just let this channel be handled by people who want to handle it more efficiently, like a franchise system, that give the retail part to a franchise and then go into the raw material supply. We'll supply our stores as well as the stores who want to start a new business with them. Of course, not the same thing that we sell in our store, but different things, customized things for them. So this is a thing that I have now realized to change. So we are doing some partnerships in that. We are also investing in some businesses so that we can get into their thing, because to learn ourselves, it takes a lot of time. So it is better if someone who has already invested some money, time, so you join hands with them and you start a new wing with them. So that could be a new turning point for your business.
Yeah, so I'm going to take 5 minutes for this, if that's okay, because for me this is very important, right? So Scrum, Agile in a startup scenario, I apologize for being a rebel on this question, but at a broad level, right, I just want to understand how this landscape is shaped. I think everyone here is PMP certified, not me. After that, so everyone must be using Jira, everyone must be using Trello or XYZ other tools for project management. See, the problem is when you're trained to become a project manager, the training happens in accordance to a corporate. The problem is when that same learning is translated to a startup while developing the MVP, this is actually a big liability for us. For instance, when developing an MVP, you're already very strapped on the budget. You're already very strapped on the resources. Like one person will be coding, one person will be testing, the same person will be deploying, the same person will be reporting the features back. So in general, you're so strapped on resources, be it human resources, financial capital, be it even compute resources. Normally like having 5 different environments, staging, pre-prod, development, pre-test, test, all of these environments, it's simply not a possibility for you in your MVP stage. So in a lot of times, all project management opinions go out of the door while creating the MVP. Because you have to forget all processes, just focus on what has to be done, what's the end goal, how does it look like. The problem is the end goal is also moving. For instance, you are halfway in your MVP and suddenly you realize that your customer wants something else. End of the day, the person who is paying is your customer. So then suddenly you have to throw out all of the progress done till now and work on something else. As a founder in this very early stage, there are 99 things that are going wrong, maybe just 1 or 2 things that are going right. I don't want a dashboard which is highlighting that 99 things further in red, saying I'm already overdue. So for me, again, I apologize for being a rebel, but yes, project management, agile methodologies work very well once you want to develop the MVP further. Till the MVP, I suggest keep everything aside. Just work on the raw nature of the work, be it development, be it support, be it testing, be it deployment, whatever. Work on the raw nature of it. Going to the second part of the questions, how do you keep all stakeholders involved? For us, it's very easy. We invite everyone to the office. No shortcuts, nothing. If it's our client, we make sure all of our daily progress goes to the client. We tell them what is done. If it is a tester, if it is an investor, everyone is in the loop of that one product. And this is where it goes back to not being shy of the idea. A lot of times people ask you how big is your team when you start a startup. You should proudly say a 2-member team. You should proudly say a 1-person team. When Instagram was bought by Facebook, they were 23 members with a price tag of $3 billion, billion with a B. That's almost $300 million per employee per head. So don't be shy of having a small team. Be very proud of it, in fact. With a small team, if you can do revenue 10 times of a company that is having 5 times the number of employees, be very proud of that. So I think at a broad level, there is no shortcut to it. Everyone has to be in the loop. As a co-founder, focus on, already your morale is going to be down because of those 99 things where it's, aag lagi hai basti mein style. So just make sure you don't have dashboards that show you that everything is on fire. Better just keep it in your mind and keep working on your MVP.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, yes. I mean, I also we were earlier working in SunGuard, which is like a big company, a lot of processes, project planning, everything I did. I exited as a senior manager there. So obviously there was a lot of things I had seen, and then I started my own venture. Things were totally different because you have to move fast, as he said rightly. I think it's not like we don't need project management there. What we need is leanness. If you see, everywhere there is a leanness in the startup. You may work with, there are 2-3 founders, 2-3 other members who are highly motivated. That's how the team structure is at the max when you are doing something. You are having a lean infrastructure, you are working from home, you are working from co-working space, you are renting laptops, maybe, I don't know, whatever fits into the budget. So even in the processes or in the project management, you need leanness. So if you try to adapt everything, like you mentioned, a lot of dashboards and all, truly it is disheartening for people. You have to see how you adopt it. Let's take an example of Scrum or Agile. Scrum definitely we found useful when we are working on even in the MVP phase, till the MVP phase also. Now how we do Scrum, Scrum, okay, there is a user story. Like if there is it is not fitting into a sprint, we say we'll split the user story and make multiple stories. It doesn't work that way in the startup. Your sprint size is equal to a big feature. So if it takes 2 weeks, it is 2 weeks. If it is 1 week, if it is 4 weeks, it is 4 weeks. You don't need to split that or say no, we have decided sprint is going to be 3 weeks only, so we'll follow that structure. You can't be that rigid on those things basically. You need retrospection. That's a very, very important thing, the example I give, if the retrospection not internally, but retrospection with the clients. This is what we are delivering, this as we had discussed, and see if it is working for you or not. That retrospection is anyway part of Agile, anyway part of Scrum basically. So what to pick, to what level, and where you need to be flexible in leaving some things apart for the later stages is something that will help you into a better coming up with a better MVP. That is what my take is. So it's not like we think like we are not doing processes, but if you have to succeed, even if till the MVP level, we have to follow some processes and project management for sure. But pick up the pieces that are fitting into the circle with which you are working. That is what I will say.
Thanks, Ujwal. So I agree with the lean part of the discussion, what Ujwal was talking about. So yes, but when we follow the lean, we have to be absolutely consistent. As long as you are consistent, repeatable, and certain about the process, what you follow, that's it. and transparently communicate it to the customer. So throughout my career I worked only in the products, okay, product companies, product engineering, product management. So my startup was always about the product. So the beauty of that is like I have always one single backlog to manage. Okay, we were not into building the handcrafted masterpieces for the customer, and that is what still I am doing in Tata as well. So one single funnel for engineering, and that keeps the life easy and lean for the engineering team. So having said that, what is important, like I mean, when we talk about agile and this strategy for the startup to grow. So what I always believed in this model, which I learned after my first failure, which is like 1-3-30. That's what I call it. So you build your product or service for the first customer, okay. Then roll it out for next 3 customers. Test it, validate it with 3 customers. You will get some more feedback. Incorporate that. That will help to make this product or service more mature, and then sell it to 30. And that way then you will have a more control on the backlog, product backlog. And then that way you can scale it further. This is the strategy. This is a answer to your second question, the strategy which we followed, and that is still I am following, being in leading this product engineering team in Tatacom.
So, great insights from both sides. One rebelling against the agile and a structure, the others using it in a slightly different manner. So that gives hope for project management community here that we can be valued. Today's startups are tomorrow's corporates. At what point in time, I would like to pick your brains, is when you need a structured methodology like a project management, like an agile? What is that transition point?
Honestly speaking, I don't know what Scrum and Agile is. Because I'm not from that background. But so basically, at what point do you think that your idea should move on? Or
At what point in time you have moved beyond the MVP, now you are a business? At that time you need structured processes. You can't operate the way you operated in the initial phase.
okay.
We homemade patterns to be.
Okay, yeah. Definitely. Once you get some scale, you need to make some changes. You can't be holding on to the old ideas that I have been doing this for a very long time and I'm always going to be doing this. When I started this with one of my friend, he had this idea that we'll do it the same way that we are doing it for a period where we become a chain, and after that as well. It wasn't going to work like that. It was going to fail for sure. So I said that, I'll go on my way and we'll start something else. But yes, definitely at some point when you get some scale, you need to diversify your things, and also you need to make some changes that might not be good as per you. That the product also changes when it goes for a scale thing. So yes, you definitely need to change your strategies. You need to change your product in terms of getting into mass production, because everyone here sitting here has a different taste bud. You can't cater everyone's taste bud. So there should be a standardized product, a standardized system. There should be someone who is expert in that and who is helping you out in that, because you can't be expert in all of the components which you are making. So yes, definitely delegation is important. After some point you have to delegate some work, and you need to focus on growth, marketing, and also create an awareness about your product. So yes, definitely.
Okay, as much as I am a rebel of project management till the MVP stage, I am a big supporter of it after the MVP stage. Now, once you cross the MVP stage, okay, this is when, okay, he gave the examples of conceiving someone, being pregnant. MVP is your child is born. Now you have to raise the goddamn kid. This kid has to be well mannered, XYZ, all correct things according to the society. It has to fall into some sort of structure. So the way I look at this is, once you launch the MVP in the market, now you kind of ask yourself, where do I want to take this? First thing is, of course, till the MVP, the founder has to be hopelessly optimistic in saying, I'm sure someone will pay for this. For example, I saw a plastic recycling thing. As much as everyone loves plastic recycling, very few percentage of the population is happy in paying even 1 rupee extra to get a plastic bag which is environment friendly. So you might start by thinking, okay, I'm sure someone is going to pay for this. What happens after that? Then, once you launch the MVP, you have to decide what is my goal with this launched product. Is it more sales? Is it more users? Is it more social impact? Or is it more satisfaction? Is it more general consumer impact? Once you decide where this goal is, that is when you should have a full-fledged project management structure where every user story is tied up with that goal in a certain way. If your goal is revenue maximization and you create a user story for a small bug fix or for a small feature fix, that somewhere has to be justified that doing even this 4-hour worth of work is going to give me 10 rupees extra. Whatever may be the amount, however small it may be, you have to identify a goal. Every user story in whatever methodology you use, it has to kind of align with the end outcome. That is the only way you'll save your startup, because see, after the MVP, the biggest enemy of the startup is the founder. Because the founder still has his own idea in the brain. I want to eradicate plastic waste or whatever, XYZ ideas. I'm not aiming at one. But the founder is a lot of times very reluctant to look at what the market wants and pivoting accordingly. So I think at that time, if you have a good project management system with good data reflected on every user story, a lot of times, even if you think this is a killer feature, you look at the data and you'll see this is a bad feature and then you'll not do it. So you might end up saving a lot of resources in an already tight scenario.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, as I said, like lean is something that we need till the MVP stage. So MVP stage is something like, from 0 to getting yourself to 1x. That there are some people who are paying you for your product, you are getting some stability. Till that time, leanness is justified. After that, when you are looking from 1x to 10x or 100x, project management cannot be bypassed. It is definitely the way which you can which will take you to that multifold of returns on whatever efforts you are given in the initial days. So I think that's the right time in terms of there. I would say that the rigidly following the processes also give you more impact. You don't have a justification that let's drop this and all. Follow that particular thing. It has been a proven methodology, which has given returns multiple times for many companies worldwide. So that is a time when you should start thinking about the right tools, softwares, maybe paid solutions for having the processes implemented, a project management dedicated person. All those things can be there. But yes, from 1x to 100x, if you are to go, you have no other way but to have a project management in place.
Thanks, Ujwal. I have a slightly different view, but before I express my views, I want to ask Rinoo, this question is coming from sponsors or?
It is coming both from the investor side.
Okay, sure. No, if it is coming from sponsor, I have one more thought as well. So if Kite have some product around project management for startups or lean startup, definitely we would like to see it. So.
We are working with Rinoo on the same lines.
Okay,
So
great.
With you an alliance, we are for it and we can devise something. So we are in the process of it.
Okay, great.
We will work with you as well.
Sure.
Are you ready for an acqui-hire?
Are you ready for the
Acquisition?
Of course, no, we really want to create an Indian product just like SAP.
Because big companies never invest, they just acquire.
No,
Okay.
we are not on that route.
So coming back to the question, original question, according to me, this project management practice and structure is there from day one. It's not like it is not there, it is always there, okay? But that footprint grows over the period of time as the business grows, okay? And especially in the early days, or especially when the startups, these founders or the startup is bootstrapped, okay? So it is like this, I mean, I want to correlate this, the events in the personal life. How many of you have seen that wedding has been postponed by 2 days, right? Or this Valentine's Day celebration has been postponed by a week. It's happening over the next Monday or Tuesday. We don't, right? So that's the kind of commitment and seriousness and involvement is there of the founders, and whatever we are trying to produce, whether it's products, surveys or any releases, those are on time, on schedule, or maybe before time as well. That's what I have experienced.
Very interesting insights. Unfortunately, we are also running out of time. A lot of people gesticulating to me, time is up, time is up. So, time is very important for everybody. But I would like to summarize this, that while startups are a necessity, it is very important to keep focused on the business. You're not there for charity, and if you're in charity, you will open an NGO, not a startup actually. So, if you are a startup, you should always be looking at scaling this up. There's no point in dreaming small. Don't think that I will go and start 2 shops, 2 retail stores. That's not where it should stop. Then you're not in that business. You're just opening two stores and then you're done with it. Start big, think big, and never shy away from taking risks. Because the biggest enemy of any startup is risk aversion. You're not in the business of, you're not a banker who is risk averse, right? I'll take a full credit check before I give you money. That's not the kind of business you are in. So, risk is inherent. So the first mental barrier that any of you who's dreaming of any idea is chuck the risk away. What is the worst that can happen? Khane ko to milega na. Beyond that, start thinking, what are you putting? Because if you have a safety net somewhere, then you're not put 100% into your startup. That mindset of it's make or break has to be there. Now, having said that, I'll wrap it up, and we are open to questions if you have. If anybody of you wants investments, we can talk outside, not here. But thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please do.
I have one question. So, certain times, as we discussed, sometimes you go and give, Amit also discussed about maximum you evaluate it for say 1 month or something. So, kind of free versus charging premium. So, where should we stop giving free, or where should we start charging premium for anything? Maybe it is app, or it is actually you want to give purpose for testing someone or something. So, how much free is desirable, not desirable, and where you should stop it?
Very interesting question. I think Amit had touched upon it, and I think you are uniquely positioned. How much free, how much not free?
This was one of the things we used to discuss. Like, he came to me with this idea 18 months back, and we have been meeting like almost every week. That is what I do as part of my entry. So he will tell you, I have like from day one, my rule was nothing comes for free. So you can give for tasting things, but he also invited, the food bloggers, the other influencers, those kind of guys that you can have a quid pro quo.
That's marketing.
And some bit of paid marketing, yes, but even, I think, even I told him not to go into Swiggy Zomato for 3 months, for the first 3 to 6 months. The benefit was that he has created his own database of direct customers. And I think about 80% of your customers today are direct customers. They don't go into Swiggy Zomato. So that kind of margin that which they charge is completely like saved by him.
Absolutely. That is also a hidden message here is know your value chain. The whole you cannot be in a startup business not knowing your value chain. You need to know metrics. Every startup, everybody hates dashboards. I've heard people saying dashboards are bad. But the moment you start scaling, you need to know unit economics. You need to know unit economics of your business. And you need to be measuring it to the T as a founder. It's inevitable. Now it may look like paperwork, but it's required. But very good question. I think if others have any other take. I think we are running out of time. Probably we should be asking. I'm constantly getting bombarded.
This question is from the organizer.
Sure. Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll connect on the community group that we have, and please feel free to ask questions there. Most welcome. Any support that is required from the chapter members, this is a community to help each other. So ideas, problem solving, whatever, that's what we encourage. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rinoo, and thank you for the fantastic discussion of the panelists. I would like to personally thank Rinoo for mentoring this session. Samar, Ujwal, Vinay, Makarand, thank you for all your insights. And I can honestly say I've been there, done that, brushed out. For me, it's not a failure. Either you're successful or you've learned. So, I mean, maybe I'm too optimistic. My husband says the same. That's why he says you're always dreaming. But that's how it is. So, there's no harm in dreaming. Dream, put a date to it, that becomes a goal. Break it down, becomes a milestone, and then we all know we are all PMP certified. So from then on, thank you very much for coming down for this monthly seminar. I would personally